Mercury rules the mind and communication. Okay? At the sun level of consciousness, you become aware of your identity and purpose as a separate, distinct personality. At the moon level, you become aware of the cyclic pattern that reflects the many facets of your emotional character. Mercury acts as the messenger between the two, helping you make sense of your world with the capacity to think and communicate those thoughts. In the astrological model of understanding relationships, Mercury represents your communication skills. It includes all that goes into making up the ideas and beliefs you wish to share with others, your ability to express yourself, and your listening and interactive skills. This chapter explores each of these facets of communication with exercises and examples for developing the many sides of Mercury's communication skills. The importance of good communication in relationships cannot be overstated. It is the hub that connects every other aspect of the relationship together. It is that vital. Whether you are expressing love or anger or working on a business arrangement, it is communication that allows you to interact with others. Some people are born with a natural ability to communicate with others, while others have inhibitions. Success in all aspects of life is enhanced by your ability to communicate with others, and it is a skill that can be improved upon. Knowing your own thoughts and feelings is one thing, but effectively communicating them is another. In our modern world, we utilize the sophisticated technology of the worldwide communication network with satellites, computers, television, radio, and telephones, all allowing us to receive and transmit communications almost instantaneously to and from anywhere in the world. But still, Mercury's puzzle often remains an enigma for even the simplest types of communication within relationships. After sorting through the difficulties that arise over and over again with communication, it finally sinks in. What you think you have said and what another person hears you say are not always one and the same. That is Mercury's puzzle. The solution is in taking communication skills seriously, paying attention, and working with the puzzle. In all relationships, it is the quality of the communication that is unique and special, or not so special. To improve the quality of communication requires that you first contemplate your current skills. This takes a great deal of honest self-analysis. Communication in general can be separated into several important skills that lead to quality interaction. The following sections are designed to help you understand and activate the Mercury level of consciousness. Knowing yourself. The individualization process of becoming separate and distinct from all others involves knowing who you are. This requires that you learn to speak for yourself, pull away from the mainstream of thought, and speak from personal experience instead of repeating what others have said. Each and every encounter you have is an opportunity to delve a little deeper into the hidden recesses of the self, an opportunity to confront how you really think as opposed to how you think you should think. Eventually, you rely on yourself and stop needing others to support your ideas. Imagine the benefits of being so secure in your self-awareness that you never feel threatened or intimidated by opposing or different thoughts and opinions of others. Imagine the freedom. That is a high watermark. In order to be a good communicator, it is important that you know where you stand and what your beliefs are concerning the important issues in your life. The big killer of a conversation is when someone asks you your thoughts about a given topic and you respond, "I don't know." If you have difficulties knowing your own views and opinions, Start with a journal where you can safely work through your thoughts and express them to at least yourself. Affirm to yourself that communication with your journal is your opportunity to pull hidden parts of yourself up to the surface. Vow not to hold anything back. Your writing is not for public viewing and will be like talking to the most private and special person, so you can be as personal and intimate as you choose. Get to know yourself through your journal. Periodically, read your journal. Get to know the person who wrote it, you. This is the stuff that individuality is made of. The truths and the inconsistencies are the total package of you. Read without judgment, and you will grow faster in coming to know yourself. As you get to know yourself, learn to distinguish between your preferences and your judgments. Preferences are statements of your individuality and reflect your taste. Judgments are psychological resistances and are felt much more strongly. Knowing your preferences enhances your communication skills, while expressing your judgments blocks the free flow of information. You can always identify a judgment by its accompanying psychological reaction. If you simply do not care for the way another person is behaving, that is a statement of your preference. But if you find another person's behavior intolerable to the point that it upsets you, that is a judgment. It is beneficial to ask yourself, why am I experiencing such a strong reaction? What is being triggered within myself? If you are willing to answer yourself honestly, you will always find something you needed to learn about yourself. Preferences are flexible and changes, reflecting the changes in you. Judgments are harsh and unmoving and resist change. No new information can get past them. Consequently, no growth will occur. A good exercise to deepen your awareness of your preferences and judgments is to write a page pertaining to each in your journal. Think about the things you like and dislike, and then try to ascertain the strength of their psychological impact on you. From your analysis of your various likes and dislikes, put each of them on either a preference list or a judgment list. It will be interesting to look at the judgment list and see if it could really be called your need to work on self list. The Buddha said something like this: you are what you think, having become what you once thought. With this in mind, a great tool for any of us might be a computer printout delivered at the end of each week with all our thoughts tallied and ranked in order of what we thought about most. It will be startling. It would have even greater impact if that tally of all our thoughts was available online for all to read. Then we would start taking more responsibility for what we think. We do not need a computer to monitor our thoughts and ask ourselves periodically throughout the day, is this really what I chose to think about? If what I am thinking about is now contributing to my reality tomorrow, am I happy with the script I am creating by engaging in these thoughts? Everyone has a mind and the capacity to think. What we choose to think about, however, is a matter of individual choice. I like to say it this way: your capacity to think is God's gift to you. What you choose to think about it is your gift to God. Expressing yourself. Communication is the skill of sharing information. If you want more intimacy in your relationships, be willing to take the first step by expressing yourself. Sometimes this is frightening, as you will not always know how your ideas will be received. Be proud of the information you have to share, and be equally secure about any ignorance you may have on a certain topic. You do not have to know everything to be a good communicator, although the bottom line here is self-knowledge, so you must be aware of what you do and do not know. Confidence that your perceptions are, at the very least, valid to you is also necessary. Next, offer your ideas for others to examine, and they will either support your ideas or reject them. This is what communication is about. The ego will typically present reasons for not being totally honest in expressing yourself. These rationalizations are the result of a fear of being rejected. Be brutally honest with yourself and examine all the reasons you can come up with for not expressing your truth. Assume that these reasons are probably a false, limited perspective and not worth the sacrifice of your truth. The ego is tricky, however. It will manufacture all kinds of benevolent reasons for protecting others from the truth. People involved with relationship difficulties often express a fear of telling their partner exactly what is going on inside of them and provide a variety of rationalizations such as, "But he will be destroyed if he really knew how I feel." This kind of reasoning constructs barriers and initiates the beginning of a communication gap. At this stage, isolation enters the picture. You start feeling bad when you are with your partner and inhibitions rise. But who is at fault? Is your partner really keeping you from saying what is on your mind, or is it your fear of what others might think of you that is the problem? By saving your partner from knowing what is really going on inside of you, you are responsible for holding the relationship back from its ultimate growth. No two people grow at the same exact rate, and you both have to take turns being the one to instigate growth. Be willing to speak your truth. It is the beginning point. Listening skills. Ranking right up near the top of the list of skills required to be a good communicator is being a good listener. This is just as important as knowing your own thoughts. There are two types of listening: passive, simply listening and absorbing the information, and active, entering into the dialogue by both listening and interacting. When you are in a conversation with someone and they are talking, practice holding back your thoughts about what they are saying and listen attentively with an absorbing mind. What is being communicated to you? How does this person feel about their communication? You are just listening, not thinking of how you feel about what is being said, and not simply waiting to share your thoughts. That is passive listening. The art of interviewing and interactive listening. Passive listening is simply not interrupting. It's a one-way street of allowing the other's ideas of another person to be expressed before you jump in and share your own. It is not true communicating, which always implies interaction. To be listening and interacting simultaneously is the skill of interviewing. A skilled interviewer not only draws out the other person's thoughts on any given topic, but also sharpens the conversation by asking incisive questions. It is fun to be asked questions about yourself. Is it fun to be asked questions about yourself by a person who is really listening? When you assume you know what others think or feel about a topic and therefore do not bother to ask their opinion with great attentiveness, you have missed the opportunity for growth in the relationship. This kind of typecasting is the first rung of the ladder of feeling isolated from your partner. Think about the people you enjoy spending time with and notice if they typecast you or are truly interested in your thoughts. Developing your talent as an interviewer is one of the primary keys to creating more satisfying relationships. The more you practice, the better you will become at entering the world of other people's thoughts. The age-old idea of each person being an island unto himself is quite valid, but bridges can be made to span the gap. Open-mindedness. Being open-minded is one of those great concepts that most people subscribe to, but few achieve. There exists in all of us a natural tendency to screen information that is not consistent with our belief system, thereby initiating defensive reactions. Psychologists call this selective reinforcement. It is easy to hear information that is consistent with your existing beliefs and difficult to hear information that is not. The psychological reaction most people go through when confronted with opposing points of view is not conscious. It is a reaction that operates with or without your permission and absolutely deters open-mindedness. You can train yourself to avoid this reaction, but it takes work. The defensive reaction has a functional value during the early development stages of youth, as it protects the immature mental structure from having to incorporate too many divergent opinions. But with maturity, the mind becomes strong and develops the cohesiveness of individuality, making it possible to listen to opposing views without worry of those ideas becoming your own. Once this strength is developed, there is a noticeable hunger for other ideas. It is unfortunate, however, that the defensive habits of the past may linger into adulthood and can surface whenever we feel challenged. This defensiveness blocks the free flow of ideas and will be perceived by others as being closed-minded. The following exercise is designed to help you track down, identify, and overcome your defensive reactions. Mercury exercise for cultivating open-mindedness. Make it a habit to periodically read or listen to information that is contrary to your existing beliefs, with the intention of overcoming your defensive reactions. This exercise challenges your defensiveness by seeking it out, tracking it down, and confronting it face to face. It is not hard to find points of view that differ radically from yours, and the stronger your reaction against the opinions being expressed, the better it is for this exercise. These might include issues such as political views, editorial opinions, and the like. While you are confronting yourself with this information, take note of your reactions and feelings. What is happening? Watch the process that your mind and body are going through. Remain in the role of the detached observer while simultaneously surrendering to your reactions. You do not want to change the reactions at this point, so simply watch the process of rejecting the information, discounting it, and believing it to be false, and how it is registering in your body. This first-hand glimpse of your defensiveness at work is this controlled situation, gives you insight into how it is working in real-life situations. Once you have the ability to recognize your defensiveness, you can start to overcome it. Breathe deeply into your belly and tell yourself you can see what your mind is doing. Let yourself know you are perfectly safe and there is absolutely no threat in listening to this different point of view. Take note where your body is holding the tension from resisting this information, most likely your solar plexus. Breathe into the tension and relax it, feeling the ease that comes from simply accepting this point of view exists and knowing you are not threatened in any way by being aware of it. This exercise, thank you, baby Leah. This exercise shows you how strong your tendency is to screen information. It has also shown you this defensive reaction can be overcome. Ultimately, it is not magazines and newspapers you wish to improve your relationships with. It is people. Realize the defensive you have had to overcome exists in everyone else as well, and you will likely have to deal with the closed-mindedness of others at times. As you become less threatened by the differing opinions of others, they become less threatened by you, which greatly enhances the flow of communication. Although this concept is easy to grasp, intellectually, it can be hard to put into action. The following exercise will help you in broadening your perceptions. Mercury exercise for understanding different perspectives on the same issue. With a partner, choose a book that has very different front and back covers, and then hold the book between the two of you so that one person sees only the front cover and the other person sees only the back cover. Now, describe to each other exactly and only what you see from your perspective. What is happening? Is it just one book that you are both describing, yet you are both describing something very different from your vantage point? Now stage a mock argument over the differing points of view. Try to convince the other person that what you are seeing is the only true perception available because it is what you are seeing. Ridiculous, isn't it? Now enter into cooperative discussion with each other. Know that what you are seeing is correct. Know also what your partner is seeing is correct. Both of you should be sharing your perspectives with total confidence. Though different, both are absolutely correct. This exercise may seem obvious, but it is effective in reminding you that differing points of view are equally valid, offering another perspective on a situation, not a challenge. Remember this exercise the next time you get into an argument with another person. Of course, there are differing points of view. The more you can accept that fact, the more open-minded you will become. There is a saying in the Eastern tradition of spirituality, this and that too. In your dealings with others, apply this same principle. Instead of this or that, try the attitude of this and that too. Thoughts as energy. Thoughts carry energy with them. Communication is a medium of energy exchange between people, and when it proceeds freely, unimpeded by resistance, the exchange revitalizes both individuals. When there is resistance to the flow of communication, it is a double blitz on the energy field. First, there's no opportunity for being revitalized by the interaction with another person's ideas. And second, energy is expended on the resistance itself. This is why working with the public exhausts some people and why others experience increased energy from the same interactions. From this view, we all need each other's mental energy in order to activate greater levels of potentiality. Einstein and other great thinkers have approximated that they had actualized only a small portion, 10 to 20%, of their mind's potential. Isn't that a rather haunting legacy? It makes you wonder what portion of the mind's potential the rest of us are using. It provokes questions such as these. What is the purpose of the other 80% of the mind? Are we in some form of regression evolution in that we are losing more and more of the mind's capacity? Or have we simply not learned how to actualize the rest of the mind yet? Our individual energy fields are only able to generate enough energy to animate a small portion of the mind's potential. By interacting with the thoughts and ideas of others in a non-resistant way, you open up to the expanded energy, and doors to the unexplored 80% of the mind begin to open too. Mercury through the signs. Now, you had all that time to pull up your birth chart and figure out where your Mercury was at. Hopefully you did it. Because we about to get into it. And when I say a sign, I don't want you being like, ooh, Aries gang gang, if that's not your Mercury sign. If that's your sun sign, you got to sit down and go get your Mercury sign, okay? We already did the moon. I posted it. We did the moon the day before yesterday, all right? Now we're doing Mercury, okay? All right, that's okay forever. You just listen. You listen. All right. Mercury through the signs. Mercury's sign at your birth represents how your mind tends to operate, how you gather information, analyze it, and make it useful in your life. It shows how you learn best and indicates your tendencies in communication. Topics that relate to the sign of your Mercury will be natural strengths for you and can hold the greatest interest for you. Remember, you can work with your Mercury if you do not like some of its characteristics. You can use your will to compensate for your tendencies and train your mind so that it serves you. It's like the saying, the mind is a wonderful servant, but a terrible master.